Okay, so we gonna wait. Hi, we got some people coming in. Sorry, I need to look at the camera.
I can't see the comments, guys, so I'm just going to be saying hey periodically. And then
I'm gonna write it in here. Sorry if I am looking
at the comments.
Hi, Mariah, my babes.
Hi, Mariah.
Thank you for coming. I'm gonna do like a standing, what do you call it? A standing desk so that I can.
Oh, okay, fine.
And then like
squint like I can see the desk.
Yeah. Okie doke. We're gonna wait for a couple more people to come in. How's everyone's day? Make sure you send us messages in the chat, please. This is a conversation today. This is about you just as much as it's about me and Ali. So, hey, Mika! Yay!
Oh, I'm so people are come to see us. It's so cute. Thank you, guys.
So sweet. We're waiting for some more people. Okay, we're gonna definitely have some questions soon, people. So
yeah,
we will do that soon. Definitely get acquainted with each other in the comments too, because
whole family, whole community, guys.
If you don't already know each other,
but we do by spirit, you know. That's what's important.
No, I'm kidding.
I actually really love that movie.
We do. I love spirit figures. Okay, we'll wait for like a couple more minutes, yeah, and then we'll get started. Oh, should I close my window?
I think we should.
It's so far up there. How do I? My mom's like, how do I add comments? Mom, you just type in the chat.
She might be
respond to you right now. Huh?
It might be telepathic.
No, she just messaged me. I can see it in my phone.
Oh.
She messaged me. Just in the chat. If you're in here, Mum, already, just type in the chat. Bless her. She's in the other room as well, so it's like funny. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to close my window.
Oh, she's gone. It's just me and you guys. Just you. I hope everyone's been or whatever. It's been quite a long day for me. Just talking to myself. I'm speaking to you guys. I've had a very good day. Very, very, very good day. So I'm really excited to hear you all.
Can everyone hear us properly as well? Can you hear me and Ali properly? Just let us know. So that we can turn some things up. I got my juice there. Okay. Do you want to get started, Ali? Shall we get into it?
Shall we get started? Okay, guys, welcome. I'm Ali.
And I'm Ebbs.
Welcome to Divine Soliloquy. This is our very first live. Ed, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm actually very excited because we've got like some good topics. We've got some good things to chat about, and yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys, really.
Oh, yay. And thank you to everyone that sent in their thoughts. We've had some great communication for this live. We've had thoughts, we've had feelings, we've had opinions. So I'm really excited to kind of delve in and just discuss your thoughts because you have spent 1.5 seasons listening to our thoughts. So this is like a great time, you know, just to kind of share with you and just what goes on in your mind. So today's topic is actually going to be about my
drum rolls is really weird, sorry.
Mine was like silent. Age gaps in relationships. And this is a big, well, it's a big topic for centuries, to be honest, because at some stage in life, it was normalized. Um, Typically, I would say with men being older than women. And if we go back then, way back in the day, you know, young, wonderful, amazing females were actually sold to women and become wives. So it's not necessarily unheard of. I think times moved on. I think, Ebs, would you agree that it's a bit more frowned upon now? Right, taken away. But I would say it's a bit more frowned upon. Age gaps in relationships and how do we feel and what do we think about it? So we're going to start off with some of the comments that we received from you guys. This one's really interesting to me, actually, Eb. So I wanted to get your take on it.
Okay.
We had a comment, and I remember it after because I was really intrigued by this one. And this was actually from a group of younger females, around the age of about 20, 21 years old. And those lovely ladies were kind enough to share their thoughts. So the pros that they stated was learning. You get to learn from an older generation. So you get to learn from the older generation. You're able to feel like you have a father figure if you come from a home where you got a missing father figure. And you also get to feel like you can discuss the future with somebody that is more experienced and sexually experienced. So they spoke specifically about experience in life and sexually. And we'll go through the pros and then I'll tell you the cons, actually. So what do you feel about the pros being learning from an older generation?
Okay, it really does depend. Like, what age gap are we really talking about here? Can we differentiate? Is it like 10 years plus?
Well,
5?
I would say about 7 to 10 years. So the girls that wrote it are around 2021. And if we go back to when we were 21, we thought, oh my God, he's 25, 27. So I'm going to say about 7 to 10 years for this.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at it. I feel like I look at it in two ways. I don't really have an issue with age gaps or anything like that, but when it's a man that's older than a woman, I don't necessarily think that automatically means that the man is gonna have more lessons, because I don't know. I feel like men mature slower. I'm sorry. I feel like they do mature slower. Not all of them, but majority of them. So, like, say you're 21 and you're dating a 27-year-old man, is basically a 21-year-old anyway, essentially. I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying
relatively mature, though, isn't it? Because that 21-year-old might, yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I think female 21-year-olds are pretty mature. So they level each other out. But that's why I feel like that dynamic usually tends to work. But like you said, I don't know if you mentioned this, but where you are on that timeline. So if, he's 27, does he want kids? Do you want kids? If you're 21, in this day and age, are you going to be wanting kids to settle down? Or he's probably maybe ready. He might not be mature enough for it, but he might think he's ready because, as you get older, you think about those things naturally. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one because I feel like it's really like subjective. It really does depend on the person.
Well, break down, just to kind of help along what the girls were saying about being able to learn something. It's about the mentality, though. So we hear all the time, and it's in real life, a lot of young women date older men. It's really interesting to me that those young women coming from young women are saying they date those men because they feel like they can learn something. And you're saying, as a woman that isn't 21 years old, well, actually, in my experience, girls, you're not necessarily learning anything from these men, but they don't know that. And that was interesting to me because I didn't know that was the initial attraction. I don't know what I thought it was. I thought it was more stability financially, if I'm being honest.
I would have said that as well. That's what I would have thought it was. I'm not understanding what they think that they would be learning from a man who's like only like 5-6 years older than them.
And that would be interesting to know if you guys, sorry to cut you, if you're in the chat, please say what you feel like you would have been learning, because I actually really want to know.
Like, what if you're dating an older person in general,
Yeah.
5, 6 years, 7 years, what do you think you're learning from them that you can't maybe get from somebody your age? I mean, I feel like that's too small of a gap. In 20 years, now that's completely different. 100%, I would agree that you're learning a lot from somebody who's 20 years older than you. But then we get into almost a parent-child dynamic, which...
That was the comment, daddy. You know, you feel like you have a father figure. And we can assume that those that are looking for a father figure don't have a certain relationship with their father, or if they're with their father. Because sometimes it goes either way. Sometimes they admire their father so much that they want to emulate them in their partners. We can't assume that there's all daddy issues, I guess.
Oh dear. Okay. What do you guys think? Like, let us know. I don't know if that's healthy. Because remember when you hear things like, "Oh yeah, I want to marry my mother," when a guy says that.
They say that all the time. That's usually when they're like, "This is my wife." But you know, a bit of a side conversation. I can understand why a lot of men think that, because a lot of women, you know, black women, a lot of women in general, we are superheroes, Marvel mums. We get a lot done, the mother and the father, depending on the household. So to a degree, I can kind of understand it, because you've seen a superwoman. So that's a compliment trying to say, I've met my superwoman. If you have a father that has been lack, or you know, that's what it is, I think it's a little bit different, in my opinion. I think to say to a man, you remind me of my father, the connotation is like, oh, you know, shit. What does that mean?
Maybe it's not that they remind them. They're just obviously looking for the father figure that they never had. So they want the man to, like you said, be stable, be reliable, actually be there, turn up for them, probably
Raise
what they're doing. Yeah.
No, but you are, to a degree, like, no one wanted to say it, honey, but it's raising. You don't quite know what that's supposed to feel like. You can just imagine in your mind, and you meet a man that's slightly older, is stable, has certain things going for himself, and you think, I think this is what I've been missing, but you'll never quite know. Because really only a father can fill the shoes of your father.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. What about the other way around then? What about the other dynamic? Because a lot of people don't talk about older women dating younger men. Is it the same?
Well, Wellington boots. I was just about to get onto that. How do you feel? And how do you feel about dating younger? And have you dated younger men before?
My friends actually used to tease me because for some reason I used to get. I mean, my last partner was younger than me, so I have dated younger
You used to get. You were about to share some real hot tea.
I have a track record of attracting younger men. I don't know why, but that's why I'm like, okay, what is that dynamic? Why is that? Is it just me? Is it them? Are they looking for a mother figure in me? But I'm talking about ever since I was like 18, 19, 20. Not necessarily me as a 30-year-old now, 30 plus, even younger, I was still attracting younger guys, but never anything more than 5, 6 years. My last partner was 5, 6 years younger than me.
No, girl, you know, the maths and the maths, man. So it's fine. No judgment. This is a safe space.
Safe space, please, Allie. Please, guys, don't judge me. No, he was very, very mature, like very mature. Let me just stop there. Very mature. And I didn't ever remember that he was that much younger than me, because there was never any like immaturity from him to remind me, oh yeah, I'm dating a 24-year-old. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, oh, it's fine. And I think he also liked dating older women because I guess he was also mature. So I feel like with age, it just depends on your it's like mind over matter. It's like if you're mentally linked up, then it will work. Do you know what I mean? The only problem with that is, like I mentioned before, the reason we didn't work is because our timelines were different. And I think that's usually what happens for a lot of age gap relationships. The timeline, I obviously was ready to settle down soon, and he was not, obviously, and I don't blame him for that. I was like, that's fair enough. Like you're too young. I don't want to settle down at 24 either. Do you know
I
what
think
I mean?
aesthetically though, because I could know and listen to you on the phone, know that you're 24 and you know, you're maturer. But if I see you and I feel like I literally just met you in a crash, then I couldn't. I couldn't. I feel like aesthetics plays a difference. Was he 24, but he looked older?
He looked older for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because could you date someone that was 24 and you, as soon as you look at them, you just know, like, oh, you literally put, you know, late 90s when you sign things.
Oh,
You're
no.
born in like now, like 97, you're 97, 98. That's a reminder if you actually look like you were born in 97, 98. For me, personally.
It's true. No, yeah, looks is definitely plays a big part. But then sometimes people don't really care. Like, there's a lot of couples where it's very visibly obvious that there's a big age gap, and they don't really seem to care.
A lot of them actually can take care of them as well, though, I find. Financially, they don't feel they're lacking in that. Because I see it quite a lot. I mean, those 24-year-olds got their shit together, so to be honest, I might have to just...
Talk about men or women.
Both, but 24-year-old men are very...
Yes, Gen Zs are very much like together. Yeah. They are much more mature. I don't mind it. I don't have a problem with it. I think it just depends on where you are in your life, your maturity. Yeah. Like, you can be 50 and immature. I've seen 50-year-old men who are so immature, and like, it doesn't matter how old they are. I saw the guys drive around in those sports cars and they're pushing retirement. It's just
because if they're driving around in a sports car, chances are they haven't had to grow, because they're just like, oh, I can. Do you know what I mean? The mentality is very different there, but it's a sticky, tricky one. I think.
Okay, question for everyone. Do you think if you have a 70-year-old person, I'm not going to say male or female, and a 40-year-old person, do you think it's a big difference from having a 40-year-old person who's dating a 20-year-old person?
Personally,
what's the difference between the two then?
I think the similarity is what you want and where you're heading in life. So if that 70-year-old is ready to slow down, that 40-year-old might be like, I am just speeding up. I still want to do things. You have to be compatible in terms of what you want to do and how active the person is. But I think at 40, granted, you feel like you know yourself enough, you've had more of a chance to develop. Like, your frontal lobe has closed. So you have had more time to develop and say, this is who I am as a woman or a man, and this is a decision that I can make because I know myself enough to know that this person isn't going to be able to mold and shape me because I've had 40 years of life. I think at 20, you are quite very, 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 very young, and you have a lot of years. It doesn't necessarily mean that a 20-year-old doesn't know themselves, but it's rarer cases. This is always going to be umbrellas. We can get as specific as we want, and of course, case by case, it's going to vary. But I think, generally speaking, there's a massive difference. 20, me at 20, I felt like I knew exactly who I was. I was like, no one can tell me nothing. I know. Between 20 and a few years, to my age now, you grow so much. You grow so much. It's quite wild and quite insane. So that's my real.
I have a question. Okay, on my WhatsApp. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can open it. What about when the appearance in age is so obvious? I saw a younger guy with silver white, obviously older. She looked like a grandmother.
Oh, not great.
Oh no. A grandmother? Oh, cougars.
If you find them attractive, then they're the only ones that have got to sleep with them. So if they find that attractive,
but what about the other way around then?
The same.
Granddad.
I just think if you find that person attractive, unfortunately, there's a stigma that goes with it. People think that there's an ulterior motive, and they usually think it's money. But I'm not laying down. If they want to lay down with Granny and Grandma. Because I don't know, I didn't see the people, but they actually genuinely can. It's just more about what the people want and where they're at mentally and how influenced that person is going to be with the age gap. In terms of look, we all have our preferences. I can't necessarily speak on whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't judge, but yeah, you will get the stereotypes of people just like, oh, well, why are you with her? Like, but you can be attracted to older people. Just like maybe some people don't understand. Oh, I didn't hear you say that again.
No, I see other people. I can be like, oh, that's a man. Like you can think just necessarily I would want to be with that person, but you can still appreciate people's beauty as they continue to age. There are certain people that I've been out on the street side and I've been like, what a handsome man. For my, whoever, for that great aunt or whomever.
But
But
if he tried to talk to you, you wouldn't be interested.
I was like, Uncle Daddy, please. I'm your child. You know, absolutely not. Not when we have, I don't have a step mummy, knowing that my stepson is older than me, and I personally, it's for me, absolutely, I can't see it for myself. However, I'm just at a stage in my life where I don't rule anything out because I don't want to speak prematurely. I don't know where life's going to take me, but it's not something that I can see if Uncle Daddy was to say, wow.
Yeah.
And then, sorry to cut you, when you still think you're a little bit of a baby, sometimes I have to catch myself and say, no, you're a grown ass woman. These men can actually approach you now. Sometimes I look at them like, I'm a child, leave me alone. Actually not. Like, they can actually say hello. It's very strange.
Yeah, and they will try. They always do try, don't they? I mean, don't have a dish at all. So I'm not really partial to older men like that. But I get it. Is that better? No, that's not better. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix it. Yeah, I'm not really. Go on.
I was going to say, a lot of men actually have more relationships with older women than I think a lot of people realize. To go back to what you said before, I speak to a lot of friends, they say either I've lost my virginity and she was this age, or my ex was this age. I think it's very, very common, maybe more common, in fact. They just don't speak on it as much, or they don't tell. They tell them.
I've heard a lot of men say they lost their virginity to older women. A lot.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah. So yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I have this thing about age, right? And it could be a very controversial thought process, but I don't feel like age should be determined by your how do you say the word? Your physiology? Is that the right word? Or your like how many years you've been on this earth? Just simply because I feel like so many people either mature way faster, they've seen more things, they can handle more things at a certain age. And I feel like just to say a 21-year-old, they all think the same, they all do the same, they all feel the same, is not really fair. Like I don't think that's true. I feel like I have a little theory. It might be a high sense or no sense. Just gonna drop this in there. I feel like at the age of 18 or 21, whatever the legal age is, wherever you are in the world, you should take a test, an adult test, like a mental, physical, spiritual, whatever, all the elements of the test to see if you truly can be an adult. That means like a stress test when it comes to bills. That means like you actually know how to live by yourself. Do you know how to take care of yourself? Do you know how to have adult conversations? Like all of those things. And then if you pass that test, or if you pass those series of like whatever, then you get to be an adult. That's what I think people should be doing. I don't think as soon as you're 18, oh, you're an adult, because it's like majority of us are like, what the hell does that even mean? I don't know. I just come out the
I think adults are still trying to navigate, figure out what it means to be an adult, to be honest. All of us are. But I do agree with that test. Just for fun, for bands, what would you actually put on that test? Give me 3 things that you would ask that you would decide kind of says you're an adult.
I feel like scenarios. Yeah, like if you were driving in traffic and somebody cut you off, what would you do? How would you react? Stuff like that,
You're checking for emotional maturity rather than
but loads of things, not just that. Or like I would ask like, okay, if you had rent due, but your friends wanted to fly to Miami tomorrow, which one would you choose?
Fly. Who wants the house want to burn down? Galang.
right. Do you know what I mean? So someone said, Ebs, no one is passing that test. I know.
No, but it just kind of gives us an idea of what you define being an adult is, or what people are trying to say being adult is.
Yeah, I know. People are saying a lot of adults would fail that test. I know. That's the point. Some adults are so immature. They're still so like, that's why I'm just like, the age thing is very, very subjective at the end of the day. I know, you know what I mean? So I agree with you guys. No one's passing that test. I'm not. Because I'm flying out to Miami. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Mom. I wouldn't do that. I'd pay rent.
I mean, you said it twice now, so I feel like we have to get your mum up on the chat and be like, is she actually saying it? We can't compare.
No, but honestly, yeah. No, I think, yeah, so it just does depend. At the end of the day, if you are mature and you want the same things as your partner, who's your age, even if you want money and you just think, yeah, nice little sugar daddy, who am I to judge? Okay? I'm not God. Do your thing. Okay? We all have vices in this world. That's none of my business, in my personal opinion.
Well,
let us know what you guys are thinking about age differences. And do you think it matters if someone's like 70 and 40 and they're dating, or they're 40 and 20 and they're dating? Is there a big difference in those two things? Okay, so we've got a response here. You need life experience before you can answer those questions. Maturity comes with growth. I agree. I 100% agree. But yeah, like I said, I know 50-year-olds who are really immature. And sheltered. No, they're like sheltered. They're like, have never paid a bill in their life. They've never left. They live with their mum.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, no, fair enough. Actually, I can think of people in that type of scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
but I don't know if they would consider. Sometimes people find the pressure of knowing that they're supposed to be in certain stages of their lives. It makes them feel like, okay, well, I'm an adult anyway because I feel the pressure. Sometimes just feeling the pressure alone, feel like, yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is expected of me, and if I don't do this now, I'm a quote unquote bum. Versus when I was a certain age and I could just do it, because there's like a cap. As you said, 18, 21, whatever age it is, you get to a point where it's like, oh no, you've been bad with your money and you can't afford bread. I'll help you, I'll do this, I'll do that. You get to 18, it's like, well, it's like, you're gonna start. And it's just like, well, I was literally 17 yesterday. Why do I have to start today? And it's just, I feel like adults should lean into adulthood a lot more than they are, in my opinion.
There should be a trial period. There's a trial period for everything else but adulthood. I don't understand.
I think it should be. Because you just think, grow up hearing, if you're in my house, you have to da. If you're in my house and then one day it's like, now you're in my house, I need £350. What? Like, I would rather just stick to the last rule, please, if I can. But we need that weaning. And I suppose life in general prepares you for that. When you look back on it as you adult, you realize, oh, I was being weaned from when I was 5, essentially. But we've spoken about this on the podcast before. As long as you raise your baby humans to be adults, they'll always be okay. Because childhood is with the grace of, the Most High. Childhood is just a very small part of that person's life. You are definitely going to be an adult for longer than you're ever going to be a child. So if you just you literally are.
It's very hard. You're literally a child for like a split second and that's it. It's gone.
Systemically, and depending on obviously your community and the people around you, the inner child is always trying to play and have fun. And that's why we should actually play and have fun more often. Back to even what we're speaking about now, I can see why certain people do date with a certain age gap, because some people are still so young at heart, and dating in their age gap makes them feel like you hear a lot, I want to feel young again. And with this whole I want to feel young again kind of, the feeling of wanting to feel like that, you just feel like if I date a younger person, they're going to bring up the spunk and the fire. A lot of women that get older, they actually have partners that are younger than them. If their partners or their husbands pass away or they have a divorce, they might be in their 70s and date a 50, 60-year-old. Because they've got so much energy and so much life left in them, and they'll talk about the last time they felt bored and they felt like their husband wanted to slow down and they were just fighting life. It happens a lot. It happens a lot when people date for certain things.
Oh, 100%. We've got some more comments in the chat. So we've got Pretty Ricky said age ain't nothing but a number. Amen to Pretty Ricky. R. Kelly also said that, so let's just watch out, guys. Okay.
No, Justin Richard. But yeah, he did say that, to be fair.
Someone else said, I'm not gonna lie, age gap can look weird, especially if it's very apparent one, that it's much older. But I think it works and I respect it. I'm with it. And then another comment, age doesn't matter unless you're procreating. I don't think it's fair to bring someone into the world and both parents won't be there for the majority of their life.
I agree.
Yeah, I didn't think of that one. I agree with that. It's very selfish, I'm not gonna lie, to do that. Because, yeah, why do people do that?
Well, because a lot of people do want to make babies out of love. So if they happen to love somebody that is older, it is a big, and it's not something that I can understand, and I agree with the comment, but at the same time, I can understand why people do that. Because that's the person that they want to make a child with. That's the person that they love. And sometimes people get into those situations and they didn't want children, but the love that they have for that person, they realize, actually, I want a child with you. So it goes either way. It's nothing that I would actually speak on because I don't know what's going to happen in life. But
yeah,
it's quite deep, whoever wrote that, so thank you.
Yeah, no, it's I didn't even think of that, to be fair. Like, I've thought of it before, but I didn't think of it in this context. It's a very good point. Like, if you are pushing 70, 80 and having kids, I mean, it's not really fair, is it? I don't know how you're doing that anyway, but yeah, it is a bit much. I did want to quickly go back to the inner child bit because you were saying some really good stuff though. A lot of people do, like you mentioned, dates people who bring out their inner child. And because we haven't been children for a very long time, but the most trauma happens in childhood and stays with us throughout our life. So it's like, you meet someone that just makes you feel like that innocent person again. I get it. Like, I get it. But I mean, yeah, you are kind of like using them to get back to that place. But I can understand that. They give you a sense of nostalgia. They give you a sense of like getting away from adulthood. I don't have responsibilities now because I'm with this younger person and I'm free and we can just do whatever we want. Do you know what I mean? So
they do have their responsibilities though. I think that's the part I would disagree with. They realize that it's not just about responsibilities. And actually this person kind of shows me that life can be this and this, because they don't scrap their responsibilities for these relationships half the time. Sometimes, but not all the time.
No.
All the time. Sometimes they will just be like, that person wants to do things and experience things that they've never experienced before. And there's also this idea that only younger people will give it to you. I just wanted to point that out because at my age now, I'm still a big kid. I can still be a big kid. I can still have fun. Life and navigating life can make you come across as a bit more serious, or you want different things for yourself at different ages, but we all have an inner child within us. And I think for as long as there's that assumption that you're only going to get it from a 20 whatever year old woman, men will continue to get to a stage in life where they are ready to settle and then settle down, not realizing that women in their 30s and their 40s can give them just that, so long they don't want, of course, babies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's enough for a reason, right? So like, there's some people who have old souls and there's some people who have young souls. And I think if you are 40, you can still have a very young soul. And if you're 21, you can have an old soul. So it's either or. If externally you kind of look young, some people might take that and run with it. If internally you act young, some people might gravitate towards that and run with it. I think it just does depend how people connect with each other as to what things they bring out in each other, because like I think we all have different facets to ourselves, right? Like my childish side usually comes out when I'm around my little brother, because I'm not saying that he's childish, but he's much younger than me, whereas if I'm around other friends, I'm not necessarily that childish. I don't act that silly. Does that make sense? So
fair enough. I don't think that your inner child, I think whether you have whether you're or a young soul, I still feel like you can have a playful inner child. I think I've seen old souls that have a very playful inner child. So I wouldn't
Yeah, but some
necessarily
people don't.
agree that.
Yeah, but
Also,
depending on who they connect with, some people might not feel comfortable to bring that side of them out. People
oh,
will
that's
share.
what I think. What you were
Yeah,
saying,
people will
you
share.
don't necessarily possess it if you have an old soul.
No. I'm saying we have different facets to each other,
Mm,
ourselves, and some
mm.
people have certain facets of us. So, and especially because sometimes people will judge you for having that playful, silly side to you. So they don't feel comfortable to bring that side out of them when they're around certain people. So it really just does depend, like I said, on the connection between those two people. If they feel comfortable to bring out that silly inner child, then they will. Or if they feel like that's how them two connect, then they will. But it just really does depend. That's just how I've seen it. Because that's
I
how
think
I
because I think no, I agree with that. I think as you were speaking, what came to my mind to actually piggyback off of that is if you are just quote unquote mature anyway and very faithful, an older soul or somebody that's slightly more not mysterious, serious, you won't be intimidated by that because you can't be anything else but that. So you kind of force that person to step into that. If you're somebody that can actually switch between the two, like you said, you can be around certain people and be one way, and you can be around your brother and be super, super playful. If you come across that energy, you might be like, so this is the energy and this is what I'm going to give. Does that make sense? Someone that is just playful or just slightly more immature or whatever, they're only going to come as that. They're not going to come and put on a different hat because they only have. Does that make sense? People have different layers, but they have. Sometimes we have. Not everyone, I should say, has a way of being mutable enough to adjust to different people's personalities and see what that person needs. They can just be one way, and I think those people are easier to date in age gaps because that person can automatically see their playful side. I think that's what it is. You
Okay.
get to meet their playful side. Yeah, in my opinion, I think you get to meet their playful side straight away.
Okay, we have some comments. So somebody said, when you find your person in life, they will give you that fun aspect of life, love, protection, and also the seriousness too. It's about balance,
I
which I
agree.
100% agree with. Somebody else said it's about compatibility and what you want, and that can come with any age. People have lost out on having very loving and fruitful relationships because they're phased by the opinions of others.
I
100%.
Whoever said that, love that.
That's why I don't judge. Like, if you find love in an unlikely place, well, what did Rihanna say? I found love in a hopeless place. And
Yeah.
Wherever. I'm not here to judge you. Find love. It's hard enough finding someone to connect with. So I absolutely agree with that. This is there's a lot of opinions, to be honest with you. And that's why you should just live your life like you want to live your life. At the end of the day, there's too many people out there who are gonna find something wrong no matter what you do. So there's really no
People
point.
always have a problem. If to me, when I see people in relationships where there's that age gap, I always think to myself, if you don't go with the whole gold digger thing, I can see when people are in love, and I can feel when you meet a couple. When you're around a couple and you can feel that they're just so compatible and they're so in love. I love love, so I find it beautiful regardless.
100%. 100%. We're all souls at the end of the day. I truly believe that we're all just souls. This shell is just that. It's just a shell. So if your soul connects with somebody, that supersedes any physical anything, in my opinion. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's go on to high sense or no sense, because we did get one.
Oh, okay. I really want to hear what everyone's like. What y'all thinking?
So it's actually more of a question that I want to pose to you guys. So if you guys don't know what a high sense or no sense segment is, it's basically where we come up with like ideas that we thought about and figure out whether they make sense or not. Like sometimes you just have silly conspiracy theories and you think to yourself, but this actually makes sense. But then sometimes it's like you need someone else to tell you, it does not make any sense. It's like, chill out. So the one we have received from a listener is, why have we explored the moon but not the depths of our ocean? Essentially. And I'm going to write it in the chat as well. If anyone has
why have we explored the moon but not the depths of our ocean?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, how have we not explored our planet, but we're out there exploring other planets? Why is that?
Humans are very curious.
Yeah, but
humans are curious creatures.
Like, there might be some down there, and we're not even looking at it. Why are we not looking? Unless we've already looked and found something that we don't want people to know. Hence Maybe. Why we're looking out there in the big wide world. Because remember, they're trying to find new planets for us to colonize, because that's essentially what it is. They're colonizing new planets. So like, why have they given up on Earth? I don't understand. They know something that we don't, essentially.
They always know something that we don't. We know that. But have we explored that much of the moon? Like, humans just like to make their mark on everything. So someone went really, really deep down and they said, yeah, done what I needed to do. And they done the same. Neil put in there.
They're still exploring the moon.
Yeah, of course. They're never going to stop. We're never going to stop exploring things that don't belong to us. That's the human problem, to be honest, in my opinion. But that was a really good question to notice, actually, because it's thought-provoking. I feel like I'm still going to have answers for that by the time we record another podcast. Because I love the ocean. I'm a water girl, a water baby. So, yeah, I'll go down.
All right, guys. Well, then, yeah, let me know next time. Since we don't have any answers, just think about it, because it's weird. To me, it's weird. I don't know if it's weird to you guys, but yeah, let me know. So before we head out, let's do some housekeeping. We are back with our episode next week. It's posting on Tuesday, and it's an audio episode. We have gone back to doing audio episodes because we want to be as authentic as possible with our audience and our listeners, and we felt like doing audio just felt better for us personally. So hopefully you guys will tune into that. Yeah, so yeah, definitely check that out on Tuesday. We're premiering the first episode on Tuesday, and it should be fun. We are discussing friendships again because it's a hot topic. And when your friends get into relationships, do they dip? Do they leave you, or do they stay? Is that okay? Is that not okay? Do you move differently when you're in a relationship, or your friend's in a relationship and you can't necessarily act in the same way? Like, that's what we'll be discussing on Tuesday. So definitely please stay tuned. Obviously follow our socials, follow us on Instagram. I'm gonna put it in there. It's too dark down there. We don't have the technology to be able to handle the true depths of the ocean.
What did they say? Read it now.
Dark down there. We don't have the technology to be able to handle the true depth of the ocean. That's a good point. However, we don't have the technology to handle the depths but we're trying. So like, there's certain things we still can't do out there.
I personally don't want them to go any deeper in the ocean, because I like certain places to be sacred, and maybe it could be something like as deep as the ocean goes, the bits that we haven't explored is because it's within ourselves. Maybe the people that explore themselves that deeply, they've touched the bottom of the ocean. Like, I like mystery, and some things are better left unsaid. So maybe they should leave it alone.
You're breaking up there. Can you guys hear us?
Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
Thanks, girl. Oh, I can see it on the screen.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, guys, please. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned in and joined us today for our first live, because we want to connect with you guys a lot more. All of our lives will be slightly different because we just want to get some feedback from you, what you guys want to do. You guys hang with us and get to know us, and ask us the questions about ourselves, and we can ask about you guys, and we can kind of just get to know you and have some lime and sparkling water. Do you want to occasionally be able to pop in and join the chat, and we will discuss the topic? It is banter and soulful conversation. Sometimes it'll be a bit of banter, and sometimes it'll be a bit of a soul conversation, and sometimes it will just be this. So feedback, because we actually just want to give you guys what you want because we appreciate you guys. And that's really it from me.
Yeah, that was it from me. I really enjoyed that conversation. So, guys, we're going to be doing this bi-weekly, and we'll just let you know when we schedule the next one. So it will be in about 2 weeks' time. So, yeah, follow us on our socials. And thank you again. Bye.
Oh, no, we have to do it how we normally do it. We have to go, okay, bye. Wow.